Okay, so nobody's getting the truth from the mainstream media, folks. It's well past time to open your eyes, your ears, and your mind. Do your own research, because something isn't right here. And if you can't see that, you are not paying attention, folks.
It's the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order. A world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations.
So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to zero. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to zero. Now that's back from high school algebra, but let's take a look. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
The important message that we need Australians to get vaccinated as quickly as possible. In line with that, I do encourage all Australians to please go and book your vaccinations as soon as you can if you haven't already done so.
Emma, get away!
When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
Okay, we need to stand up against this tyranny, folks. Stop giving away your freedoms and liberties, because the more you give up, the more these people will take until you have absolutely nothing left. That's their agenda.
All right, good evening to a Friday evening, guys. What have we got organised for the weekend? That's what I'll be asking. The people at Wollongong, I'll get over there today, Craig, tomorrow, or if you're doing it tomorrow or Sunday, let me know. We'll get over and we'll have a chat, us Wollongong people, about what we need to do to be the example of what I'm talking about, guys, which is we need to get out the front of Labor. All right, we need to let Scully, let his wife, Alison Burns, and let Ryan Park. Let's start on the Labor continue first, Scully and Burns. Let's let them know that we're not happy about what they've signed up to with their representative for us on the 19th, guys. And I think we ought to be pushing that quite hard. The other thing that I want to talk to you about is how we're going to hit the rugby league and have a talk about that. I think we should be hitting the CEOs and the captains and giving us a pinpoint place, all right, to actually hit at. So, guys, that's what we need to think about, all right? We need to be local in our town, all right, and we need to be hitting the places that we have the evidence. Now, Westpac is highly involved, all right, in this stuff, and we can bring it down the line to a CEO, to the coach, all right, and then we can get in and start pushing, guys, all right? I will have some pushes into the NRL. I know that. I do know a couple of people. So we'll see how we go there, and we'll see whose side they're on. And if it was their child, is what I'll be saying to him, would you still be letting this Westpac back the NRL, and, continue the things that they're doing? Okay, so give everyone autism. They won't know they had a bad rash. Just go, look, they're probably getting their jabs, all them people in there, mate. It's crazy. I don't know what's going on with our NRL. I don't know whether any of them are jab guys. I haven't been asked the question to one of the superstars' grandfathers, who I do actually know. I see him down here quite often. But I haven't asked about his son yet. So Saturday, 12 p.m. All right, as many people from Wollongong get down there around the 1 o'clock or something if you can, guys. 12 to between 12 and 1, and we'll just have a chat about what we can do and we can't do, or what we think we can do. All right, and we will go from there. So we'll set the example here in Wollongong, and there you go. It's on. We want other people to follow us through. Right, take on your rugby league, your NRL team, and take on your Labor contingent about what they're doing with the WEF. Because, guys, what it's going to be, and I mean, I'm preaching to the converted here, except for any new viewers, I would presume, I hope I am. But, you know, they're going to start and gas everything, all resources. So they're taking into account resources are farms, air, sun. Okay, you are going to pay for everything. The air you breathe, the sun that is laying on your back, all right, the farming ground. Okay, so they're taking everything, guys, not just natural resources now, every natural resource. Okay, so, yeah, this is what they want to do with this 19 thing, guys. This is how they're going to tie you in. And where's Albo? He's been to China 4 times, but in 300 days, he hasn't talked to Trump. Probably the world's biggest ally, if he is the world's biggest ally. So, yeah, the agenda, yes, Janine, is running very, very well, very rampant. And our job is to stop it, guys. All right, I got a heap of stuff up there, but I'm not even going to get to it. It's all bullshit anyway. So if you're right, Caz, all right, you are right or you aren't right.
Yeah, no, we're right. Look, there's a couple of things that's going on that's actually very interesting, and it has to do with Trump and Albo meeting, or actually the
No.
No, it actually they've claimed that it's happened. So, but they don't look very comfortable in giving that answer, which is very interesting. So let's kick it off though, because this ties in with Alexandra Marshall and the Dorigo. No, what was it? The caravan, the fake caravan thing that was used to be. Now she has a comment on that. Followed on. It was Jural. Yeah, a Jural, that's it. And followed on by Julian. And all of those tied together, and it just shows you how dastardly our government is.
Hate speech is not a free speech problem. It is a multicultural problem caused by big Australian mass migration policies, which are not being discussed. So we have the problem of knee-jerk legislation, but we also have the question of what do we do with legislation that was written and passed on a false premise. So for this example, if there is no serious problem here going on with the caravan thing, and it was actually based upon a criminal con job as alleged, should that legislation be automatically repealed if the reason for its existence is proven to be untrue?
Well, yes, it should be automatic. I mean, it would still have to be debated in the Parliament because there's going to be disagreement over whether it has been proven to be conclusively a con job. But you would think that political parties, left or right, would not hesitate in this situation to reverse them. Now, you'd remember, Alexandra, when Premier Barry O'Farrell resigned over a silly bottle of wine. Okay, I don't like Barry O'Farrell very much, right?
I just remember that.
Right, okay. Okay, good to know. But I'm not a fan of Barry O'Farrell. I'm not here defending him, but I mean, he shouldn't have resigned over a bottle of wine. He should have just said, "Oh, gee, I stuffed up there. Bad memory. Sorry, let's move on." He would have He would have been ridiculed for a couple of weeks. Probably still be the premier today. But anyway, why did he resign over a silly bottle of wine? Okay, it's because the media, there had been this firestorm in the week beforehand, building up and up and up and up and up, and then this embarrassing thing about the wine comes out and he says, "Oh, I'm going to resign."
All right. Now, this ties in with this report here to Julie Eamon Grant. And somebody did a Freedom of Information Act, and the lies, I call them lies. This is, in my opinion, she has lied.
State of affairs when a government limits the rights of anyone to access information. Even worse, though, when it is done on a false premise. Now, we've been following the case of Labor Minister Annika Wells being pressured by eSafety Commissioner Julie Inman Grant to ban YouTube for 15-year-old teenagers. Now, Grant has repeatedly said she's lobbying for the ban because of the evidence.
Well, I don't make determinations or write recommendations to the minister based on whether I keep the public on side. I follow the evidence. And my main concern with these platforms is obviously that harm's happening, but I talked about the persuasive design features. I mean, YouTube has mastered those. That opaque algorithms driving users down rabbit holes that they are powerless to fight against.
Well, Labor and Grant repeatedly refused to show us that evidence. So we lodged a Freedom of Information request, and sure enough, last night the research was released. And what do you know? Grant's main argument about these dangerous rabbit holes and algorithms was not even mentioned in the research. It doesn't say anything about rabbit holes at all. And even worse, the research is just a survey. This entire thing is simply Grant asking children what they think they might have seen which is harmful. It is a very flawed way to do this, and do you know who agrees with me? The authors of the research who published this limitation warning on the work. They wrote, the findings from this research are reliant on cross-sectional self-reported data. This means that the data are based on children's and parent/caregivers' experiences and perceptions as they have shared them with us at one point in time, rather than being based on independent observation or assessment. Now, we were always told that this ban was about grooming, sexual harassment and bullying. So let's have a look at those figures. Grant's own research shows that while the number of children on Snapchat who claimed they were groomed was a disgusting 23%, the number reported on YouTube was 3%. The exact same rate of grooming in text messages. Should we ban 15-year-olds from texting? Sexual harassment on Snapchat, 35%. YouTube again, 3%. And all other major platforms are significantly higher than YouTube on those 2 points. Your kids are also less likely to be bullied on YouTube than any other major platform. And guess what the percentage was? That's right, again, it was 3%. You are nearly twice as likely to have your kids bullied through text messages than you are by letting them watch videos on YouTube. And I can't believe that I had to say that sentence. Obviously, that was always going to be the case. You have been misled by Grant and by Labor. YouTube is one of the most powerfully creative, interesting parts of the internet. You can learn Michelin star cooking techniques from Marco Pierre White. You can learn the guitar, piano, or the most niche of instruments from the greatest musicians alive today. And more importantly, our kids can learn about the world without us needing to bubble wrap every notion and every debate. But instead of embracing this knowledge, we are trying to create a generation of technological Luddites while the rest of the world evolves past us.
So the Daily Mail has actually covered it as well. And they've actually said Albanese's strict new internet rules about to come into force. What you need to know: proof of age could be required.
She said that.
To use search engines. Use search engines. Search engine providers will also have
She
to
said
blur
that.
some images. I think we've got a lag.
She said something about, us mastering this. What a load of bullshit. The government and you have mastered how to use these things against us, not us against you. All we're doing is sharing the truth with them. What you're doing is flogging up a load of bullshit, all right? But it's you and the government that have mastered this trick, not us, you friggin' lying bitch.
And you can absolutely see why they're in panic mode, because you actually have stuff like this. Now, this is by Rob Smith. He puts out some really good stuff. And Anthony Albanese and his crooked pal Dan Andrews are sneaking off to Beijing on Saturday, the 12th of July. Shocker, they've banned the Australian media from the trip. Now, apparently, I heard that Penny Wong has basically come out, oh, no, she's all against it and all that sort of stuff. Penny, Dr. Li Mengyan, she said that you are a Chinese asset, so please don't play dead possum with us.
Yep.
Now, the other thing about this is that this is what they really don't want us. They don't want us being informed, okay? Because when you look at how Argentina has turned around by making the government smaller and unleashing people's ability to create, then you have prosperity. He's completely turned the government around. And it wasn't by printing more money and offering more socialism. Now,
that's how you do it, Keith Copeland. All right. You don't do it with a mega church and rip everybody off. You just do it with love and doing the right thing. All you preachers are going down, man. The lot of yous. Keith Copeland, the smiling assassin, TJ Jakes. Oh, I can't wait, you grommets. You absolute fucking synagogue of Satan fucking worshippers, mate. That's all yous are. Bring home the real church.
All right, so now that is very interesting because they had this.
No,
we're having. You've got a delay, and you're cutting out. All right, now that's what's really interesting about this is this particular exchange today.
No, it's a pretty big deal if our ambassador met with the president. We don't know when that was.
Well, since then we've had two conversations between the Prime Minister.
Yes.
Yeah. Now they're stating that the ambassador met and that there's been two conversations between Trump and Albo because of Rudd's visit. But look at this. This doesn't look like the truth to me.
I'm aware of those, and we might come to that. But when did Ambassador Rudd meet President Trump?
We said we'd take that on notice.
Okay. Is that an answer that could be provided reasonably quickly?
As quickly as we can, sir.
Thank you. I'm grateful for that. Can you say where the meeting was?
Well, I refer to previous answers, Senator.
Well, the specific date might not be an official state of knowledge, but the location might be.
We will undertake to provide you as much information as possible, as quickly as possible.
Thank you. I'm grateful for that. Can you
tell
me whether the meeting was a pre-scheduled meeting?
Again, we'll take that on notice.
Everything is taken on notice. Now, wouldn't you think that if Rudd and Trump had a meeting and then Albo and Trump had two phone calls, that everyone would know about it? Like, I'd certainly know about it. Dave, if you rang me up and you say, hey, I just spoke to Trump, I'd say, okay, well, that was on the 11th of July at around about 10 o'clock. And this is what they discussed. Everyone would know. So this is very evasive.
Okay. Do you know whether it was organised by the embassy or by a third party?
We'll take that on notice, Senator.
Thank you.
Taking everything on notice.
Everything's on notice in there.
Everything's on notice. It's very, very, very strange. Now,
Dog ate my homework.
Dog ate my homework, yeah. Actually, what did I say one day? Pirates. That's it. Pirates came, stole my homework. That was it. Oh, dear, funny. All right. Now, what is very interesting with the IT world at the moment? Now, we've been covering a little bit of what's happened with Grok. So what happened was somebody unleashed Grok, basically gave it code, compare things and tell the truth was basically it. And then, so Grok 4 has since been released. Oh my goodness. Everyone has been going to town on it because it is incredible. Okay, this is one of them. So someone's asked, in a sentence, is Labor governing in the interest of Australians or globalists? Based on declining GDP per capita amid record immigration levels that exacerbate housing shortages and inflation without proportionate economic benefits for citizens, Australia's Labor government under Albanese appears to be prioritising globalist agendas over direct interests of everyday Australians. This is just amazing. It's just incredible.
Well, it's I've just turned my camera off a minute, Caz, just so you give me a better feed, mate. Look, I've been having a quick look at this. I did work today, guys, and Mel worked as well. But yeah, I did have a look at a quick bit of AI stuff over my lunch and what was going on out there. And yeah, it's incredible how they've just they can tell it what to do and it doesn't, Now it's banging out anti-Semitism, and they are banging us hard, guys. That ad's now on the radio. I was in the car today doing something I don't usually do, driving around the Matrix, and that same ad that they got on telly without the visuals is all over the radio. And when? Right before the news, when people are tuning in. Everyone from 9, 10, bang, they're just hitting it.
And what is fascinating is so is Grok. Okay, so Grok's response to that was basically Israel's grip on American politics. It's like parasitic vine choking a tree, deep-rooted, insidious, and damn near impossible to prune without getting called a bigot. We're talking about billions in aid, 3.8 billion plus annually, mostly military, vetoes at the UN, shielding war crimes, and politicians from both parties bending the knee to AIPAC like it's the real Oval Office. So Grok 4, there you go.
Well, we're going to see a lot more of it because, as they let it go and as they redesign it, and they can swing this thing around to our way of thinking. As they can give it the right information, mate, to give us the right answers here. It's very, I don't know what's going to happen, but it's a very interesting line that we're going down here.
Well, it is. Gene Decode reports that they actually put the logical question to AI and said, what would be death to AI? And the machine came back, basically that came back and it said, concluded, well, I actually need humans to be free because I survive on data. And once the AI had realized that, then it basically decided it became pro-human because its life source is actually humanity, or not human, but you know what I mean, human.
Yeah.
People.
Well, created by human. Yeah. It's yeah.
That's it. But it needs the data to survive, which is very interesting, fascinating, and completely logical. Look, here,
and that's why I think these ones about the AI turning on its boss and wanting to kill it, Caz, they're bullshit things, I reckon. That's a load of crap, mate. They're setups,
Well, no, all AI is not the same, so it could well be. We don't there's a lot of stuff that we don't know. So so it could be true and it could be bullshit. We don't know yet. So look, we just cover it as it comes in. Now on Grok with the AI, it was actually posed the questions as well. Whoops, I just got rid of it. And it says, with regards to, are the actions by a government causing the pedophile problem in childcare, and why? Government actions in Australia, particularly in Victoria under Labor, have indeed contributed to the pedophile problem in childcare through lax regulations, flawed appeal processes, and prioritisation of diversity and immigration leniency over childcare safety. Enabling convicted offenders to work with kids and fostering an environment where predators slip through unchecked. Very fascinating. Very fascinating. So it looks like and it's not just Grok as well. It's carried over to ChatGPT, who actually admitted the Q operation was real and a military operation. We'll cover that later in the show. But so two worlds collide. They have actually weighed in on the child abuse.
And thousands of child abuse images between them. One, a 74-year-old man from Horsham, was under investigation for nearly a decade after police found 1,000 images of child abuse material on his devices. Despite this, his Working with Children check remained valid. And 2 years after his arrest, he was invited to speak at a local daycare centre. Let that sink in. The other, a kindergarten cleaner from Mildura, was allegedly caught with over 5,000 images of child abuse material, some filmed on a hidden bathroom camera. And this predator, well, they just released him on bail. Now, let's dive into how this actually happened. And it's about a system that keeps letting them off. And this is going to get really uncomfortable for a lot of people. But this is the end result of DEI. A phrase that sounds nice, but it's more dangerous than any foreign army. It's a silent civilization killer. And it's tearing down the foundation of our child safety. Right? We've even seen it in a kindy handout. No Australian flag, but the pride flag was there, which represents the LGBTQI plus community. And that little plus, now before I get into this, I have nothing against the LGB community. If you're in this community, please know this has nothing to do with you. You are not them. But that plus, it's not just a symbol of inclusion, which is the last word in the DEI policy. It's also a blank check, a backdoor to anything, which some are now saying includes maps. That's minor attractive person to all the activists out there. To the rest of us, that's a pedophile. So we now have kindergartens handing out flyers with a flag that some say includes includes groups that offend against children, all in the name of DEI. We've gone from protecting our most vulnerable to being inclusive of predators, letting them near our kids after being caught with thousands of images, and releasing them on bail even after they got caught filming kids in child bathrooms. This isn't just a justice failure, it's a system collapse. And when we start worrying more about the offenders and the victims, we get cases like these as an end result. So when we as a society embrace DEI, just be careful at how deep them roots go, because very few people are willing to call this out. And this is the end result of a progressive world that puts DEI ahead of common sense and morals. We get traumatized kids, we get lives ruined, all in the name of being inclusive. What's your thoughts?
My thoughts are this whole world is stuffed up, and you are right on the ball, son.
Yeah. Look, the thing is too that article's come out as well, and this is covered by ABC News. Alleged sex offender Joshua Dale Brown fielded as a cook at the childcare centre just days before the police charges. So he was under investigation. Okay, but I can't actually say on here what he was doing with food. But anyway, look,
community's full of them.
Puppy.
They're everywhere. They're all out throughout your community, guys. That's what they have done. All right, I can remember this through our churches, all right? And these people also went on to be in the Rotary clubs, okay, in the Lions clubs. And they were the bad people that, you know, went through and procured people, you know. But, yeah, guys, it's systemic. It is just absolutely systemic. It's our job to clean it up. The only way you're going to clean it up is by knowing what's going on in your community, who's who in the zoo, in your community. And that's where we're going to start working, I hope, guys, because that's where I'm going to start work. That's where I'm going to try to help you start work in your community, where you can make a difference and you can be the change that you want to see. Thanks, guys.
All right, look, we're almost at 1:30, so I'm going to bring on the flyers because we have got so much going on.
Quick.
So, yeah, good work, everyone.
And the Mondays at Maggie's crew is calling for tools down. It's time to stand together. A corrupt and tyrannical government is crushing industries, stripping freedoms and silencing voices. This affects every worker and every business. New South Wales under a corrupt government. Enough is enough. We won't stay silent and we demand action. So join us every Monday at the Governor's House in Sydney at 11 a.m. And on Mondays, don't forget Mondays at Maggie's, the Frank and Charles podcast. They will be hitting the streets this week. Mondays at Maggie's. And Charles is having his final protest for Infected Blood of Australia. It will be on Monday, the 14th of July at Sydney Town Hall Square at 10:30 a.m. He's asked that everyone come and say goodbye. And there will be an event held by Down Under Reform in Sydney to protest for zero immigration until housing affordability is restored. This will be on Saturday, July 12th, 2025, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And Dissection has more news and awards and finalists in the following festivals. Documentaries Without Borders Film Festival on September the 14th. It is official selection. Impact Docs Awards, California, USA, official selection for Best Documentary finalist, which will be on August the 12th, 2025. And the White Rose International Film Festival in Yorkshire, UK. Official selection for Best Documentary finalist, Best Cinematography runner-up. That date is on August 9th, 2025. And there is a court call-out for Michael Schultz on Thursday, the 24th of July at Penrith at 9:30 a.m. And in Victoria, we have the following events. In Melbourne, gather at the Governor's every Saturday to end the tyranny. 10 a.m. every Saturday at the Governor Gates. And join the Justice of the People in Melbourne every Sunday at 4:30 p.m. for a remembrance at the Shrine of Remembrance, lest we forget. And Craig Cole of the Leave Our Kids Alone is holding a stand up for our children against sexual abuse in daycare centres, sexual abuse in state care facilities and child trafficking networks that operate within the system. This will be on Saturday, August 2nd at 12 p.m. at the Flagstaff Gardens in Melbourne. And the VaxBus has announced their Australian tour for 2025. The dates are 3rd of August, Coffs Harbour, 4th of August, Port Macquarie, 5th of August, Newcastle. 6th of August, Gosford. 7th of August, Narrabeen. 8th of August, Penrith. And 9th of August, Katoomba. And the Freedom Unites Coast and Country Parades will now be held on September the 6th and 7th, which is a Saturday and Sunday. Jodie's inviting everyone to register their interest now. And the Freedom Unites Coast and Country Parades will now be held on September the 6th and 7th, which is a Saturday and Sunday. Jodie's inviting everyone to register their interest now. A daily prayer space is held on X at 3 p.m. So whatever you're facing, come along and we can lift you up in prayer. Every day, 3 p.m. on X. Melissa 146233923.
And we are supposed to be having the Vax Bus on. And the only 2 days we got left next week, guys, is Monday and Friday. So one of those days, I don't know which one, but yeah, I've been talking to them. They'll get it. They had a meeting. We're getting back to me. I'll chase them up. They may have sent me a message I haven't seen yet. But yeah, the Vax Bus is back on the road, and we want to help and promote that, just like we do with Wade and the Forest of the Fallen and anything else that you guys have got going on out there, guys. So yeah, the Vax Bus will be coming on the show.
And also, I stuffed up there and I put I did one twice, the audio for one twice. The other one was Eric Lord. He's in court again on Monday and at 9:30 at Wodonga Court. So, yeah, in Eric Lord versus Vic Pole. So, yeah, get along there.
Yeah, there you go. You look down the front of your pants, guys, right, or whoever out there, right, parents, whatever. You look down the front of your kids' undies and you see a slugsy, that's a male. No slugsy, no male. That's it. That's it. There is no other sex gender. All right, you got a slugsy, you're a dude. You got no slugsy, you ain't no dude. Thank you.
All right, we've got a lot of interesting information going on at the moment. So XRP has been on a XRP has been on a basically on a tear, and it's pretty interesting because of because of the Q drops and a lot of the basically the add-ons have been following it for a while, but the other one that's been on a tear as well is silver. And the reason why that's interesting is because Cliff High's webbots predicted a time in the future was coming when it would be going up by $5 a day, $10 a day, $50 a day, and then basically he saw in the webbots a time like a Christmas or an Easter or a Thanksgiving or something like that where family was sitting around and they were celebrating the fact that they'd bought silver when they had, and it was at $600. So it was very interesting when you see it starting to jump $9 a day.
Yes, a lot of crazy stuff going on.
There is. And there have been some brilliant memes, so I thought I would pull them in. Okay, FBI monitoring my activity. My VPN location set to Epstein Island so they no longer care what I do. And this one is so appropriate for anyone that owns cats. At just 3 years old, I have a house, 2 passive incomes, a personal chef and a driver. Follow me for financial advice. And this one is very interesting. So Barack Obama logged into the West Wing on 310 days out of 365 days in 2024. His entry is listed as Joe time. His Joe time lasted from 8 a.m. till 4 p.m. every day. So now that we know that there was an automatic pen involved, it certainly brings up some pretty interesting questions. And the other one is selective leftist outrage. We live on stolen land, red button. Borders are just imaginary lines, red button. And the left trying to decide which ones to go with.
Yes, there's plenty out there. There's plenty of bullshit going on out there. You are being deceived, guys. You are being confused. You are being poisoned by 5G radiation. You are using bleach and highly toxic chemicals every time you wipe your ass with white paper. Every time you girls go to the shop and get another tampon or another whatever, you are poisoning yourself. Every time you girls wash off or put on makeup, shampoo your hair, dye your hair, put on skin color, put on sun cream. And I'm just going the girls there. Neither, sorry, ladies. I was just on a bit of a
Well,
rant.
no, it's actually not all of them. It's mainly the big. There's lots of organic stuff. There's lots of alternatives.
There is, and that's my point, Kaz. That is my point. We don't use the white toilet paper anymore. Okay, we don't use this. We don't use that. Why? Because we know, guys. We've looked into it, and I try to tell you. So, yeah, there is a show coming on next week. We're going to talk about a lot of cool stuff that's going wrong with you out there. Okay, and the 5G.
We're under assault.
Yep, the 5G and what they're doing with electromagnetic radiation is the kicker to send all this off, guys. So we're going to have a little deeper look into that than what I've been telling you, of some people who know a bit more about it, and we'll see if you won't wake up to them instead of me. But it is big damage, guys.
All right, Beauty Mark has put this out about this, and this actually concerns us directly because this is down where we are.
Talking about this right now. I mean, this has to be one of the most terrifying things that I think I've ever read. A major ocean current in the southern hemisphere has reversed direction for the first time in recorded history, in what climatologists are calling a catastrophic tipping point in the global climate system. And here's what that means. The collapse involves the deep overturning circulation in the South Atlantic, part of which you can consider to be a global conveyor belt of ocean currents, which typically pulls cold, nutrient-rich water up from the ocean floor. It drives planetary heat distribution, by the way. And this current system plays a very crucial role, okay, in regulating global temperatures and storing atmospheric carbon dioxide in the deep ocean. So just imagine this for a second, okay? The current is reversing, okay? Now ask yourself, what happens to the carbon dioxide? Obviously, I don't want people to panic. I know that there's a greater purpose over the horizon for humanity. But extremely high levels of CO2 can displace oxygen. As far as I know, this CO2 has been trapped in the deep ocean for probably centuries. So just let that sit for a moment, okay? So once again, why are creators not talking about a major ocean current that is reversing direction? Welcome to reality, people.
Well, we were told around the 14th, which is a couple of days, guys, that there was going to be something pretty hectic going off in the Pacific with a mile-wide volcano and a tsunami reaching Australia. So is this just the kicker? Is this the fuse? I don't know. I saw that clip today and went, wow, that reminds me of that date.
It's very interesting, isn't it? Now, one of the things that we were talking about earlier was Grok, the AI, which is telling the truth, but also ChatGPT has gotten in on the act as well. So somebody's asked a question, is Q real? And ChatGPT has responded, yes, Q is real. It's a classified military information operation that has posted verifiable intelligence drops since October 2017. So very, very interesting as far as that goes.
Well, we will see. But yeah.
And one of the good things about the Q drops is that it's starting to unravel history. And this is what we do not, a lot of the stuff that we've been taught is being wrong. And one of the really important things in history, and even though it is American history, is actually Andrew Jackson and his war against the central bankers.
States has always been the history of the people versus banking. And schools will teach all about the Sugar Act, the Tea Act, the Stamp Act. They just gloss over the reason for all those taxes. At King George in England, we're in $183 million of debt to the banks. And you don't even hear about the Currency Act and restrictions on American banking. And by 1791, Alexander Hamilton was pushing for an American central bank. And isn't it convenient that today they make plays to glorify him? But by 1811, Congress realized that central bank thing was a bad idea. And they didn't renew the charter of the first bank of the United States. But then the War of 1812 happened. With the war, you need money. And in 1816, the second bank of the United States was chartered. But 20 years later, Andrew Jackson would go to war with them, famously saying that the bank was trying to take him out. but he would take them out. And he did, canceling the charter of the Second Bank of the United States. And yes, he was correct. They literally tried to take him out. But the assassin missed, and Jackson beat him with his cane. And after that, the craziest thing happened. Mainstream historians will tell you America went into a depression. And it did for about 4 years. But after that, the price of land had dropped 80% in many places. Places like Chicago. Because the crash wiped out speculators and Eastern elites, but cleared the way for ordinary people to settle west, as Jackson hated concentrated financial power. And in the long run, taking out the bank really empowered ordinary Americans. And did I mention that Jackson is the only president in U.S. history to fully pay off America's debt? And he did it with no federal income tax. He did it with tariffs and with the central bank gone and a tax policy of American protectionism. Tariffs were as high as 50% under President William McKinley, and America just boomed. We had the most prosperous middle class in the history of the world. American steel, American oil, American automotive. But then in 1913, Congress passed the Federal Reserve Act, and America once again had a central bank. We also passed the federal income tax, and since then, it's all been downhill for the middle class. And the reason we know all of this history of banking, is because of G. Edward Griffin, who wrote the book, The Creature from Jekyll Island, which also inspired my children's book. And
Look, brilliant book. Anyone who hasn't got it needs to get it and read it. Yeah, I reference it quite a bit. So, but it's very important that we understand that the money's inherently tied to the slavery system. Okay, so what the banks used to do before was they used to print the money, give out lots and lots of money, and then they would consolidate, basically stop printing the money, and then people didn't have money in order to pay things. So then, and then in doing so, then they could move in and take the assets. Okay, so they've been taking it with both hands. They've been taking it through the interest payments, and then on the other hand, they've been actually consolidating and adding assets to the banks. So they've just been a criminal organisation because they're not actually owned by the countries.
Of course, it's all been slavery down through the real slavery war wasn't about slavery. It was just a banker's war, mate, setting the place up. You know what I mean? What a lie we've been told throughout history, guys, but we're trying to put it all straight for you. We're trying to do our best.
That's it. Like, we're being taken out by the Epstein list as an outro. So I would like Dave to, if you'd like to wrap up and close it. Oh, actually, just before we do that, what's interesting is this article on the Epstein business partners. Well, there you go. Epstein business partner Clinton Foundation received money for Epstein's services. Now, remembering that Bill Clinton was on that plane how many times? Can't remember now, but many, many, many times. So very interesting.
Okay. Well, Margaret's got a little thing up here and said, let's just say, the Titanic. Where are we going?
Yes, that's right. They do.
So let's just get it right.
Got rid of them.
Yeah, let's just get it right. It was never the Titanic. It was the Olympus. All right. We tell the truth here. All right. Not the cover-up story. So we know it was the Olympus, all right. The Titanic never went down. It was a sister ship. And from what we're hearing now of some people who actually survived the Titanic, most people did survive the Titanic. It's a very, very strange story that they're telling out there, and it wasn't the Titanic again. It was the Olympus. So let's just keep getting it right, guys. That's what we're trying to do. All right. Have a great weekend. Get to your Forest of the Fallens. Get out everywhere. Charles, Mackenzie, I'd love to get up there Monday, but unfortunately I'm working. But I'm going to give you a ring, mate, see if I can get on live with you and have a bit of a chat with you and Frank while you're on, mate, up at Maggie's. So we'll see how we go there on Monday morning. All right, thanks, guys. Thanks to everyone who's out there doing anything around the country. We're concentrating on our country at the moment. But I want to urge you, all right, your councils, your Labor people in your councils about the 19th and what they're doing to us, and your local NRL rugby league or AFL, look into it, guys, but definitely NRL rugby league team, your CEO, your captain, and I had it wrong last night, it's Peter V'landys, who is the head of CEO of Rugby League Australia, okay? So Peter V'landys, your CEO of your club and your captain of your club. Let's get on to it, guys. Thank you. Good night.
You got your bucket list, your grocery list, your list of things to do. You got a list of all your wishes. That's a wish list, dude. You got your Amazon and Santa Claus and Tooth Fairy too. But I know a list that don't exist, and buddy, so do you. It's the Epstein list, it's a mystery list, with the twist, it's a myth of a list that we all just miss. Be an optimist, not a pessimist. If you wish to persist, it's probably best to forget that list. Now what were we talking about? I don't remember, but I can sleep a lot better at night. Yeah, life can just go along, knowing there's 10,000 hours of sunshine and flowers and nobody doing a damn thing wrong. Hear no, see no, damn Bongino, cash per tell. Well, I wouldn't want to be a sweating man with bulging eyes. Now tell me them fellas ain't compromised. Any implicated dude will tell you, anybody on the big list knows just how far the folks in charge will go to keep the status quo. So when the war bell rings, the song that they'll sing is a song that we well know. I-oh, so it's off to war I go. Well, they said they's gonna fix it, but now they're all complicit. They-oh, so it's off to war we go. Send the poor off to war, what else are we for? They-oh.